Welcome to Calling All Growers. I'm your host, Liz Grow, and this is a very special edition of Calling All Growers live today. We are joined by the iconic actor, comedian, singer, Last Prisoner Project ambassador, and cannabis farmer, Jim Belushi. But before we talk to Jim, my co-host, none other than Jimmy Young.
Hey, thank you so much, Liz. And of course, this is also a special day for Cannabis Media because not only are we interviewing Jim Belushi live on our network, but we're also introducing a growing webinar with growers from Humboldt County in the Emerald Triangle in California. We met Wendy Kornberg and James Burer out there. Ben Morgan Dillon from a local farm in Massachusetts is here and is going to be part of this webinar as well. And by the way, it's a free webinar. So all you have to do is go onto our website, Pro Cannabis Media, and sign up for that webinar. We will have excerpts of this interview with Jim during that webinar. So without any further ado, one of my favorite comedic actors of all time, and Jim, you already know when that all started. I welcome you to our program and thank you for finally making the time for us.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I love being around cannabis people. They're generous, they're kind, they're thoughtful, and they have the right purpose in life.
Absolutely. Hey, how did the idea for Growing Belushi, your show on Discovery and now on demand all over the place, how did that all come about?
It's on demand on Discovery Plus, and I think it's on rerun on Discovery Cable, but Discovery Plus where you can get it.
Yeah.
How did the show come about? Oh, Jesus. Well,
was he involved?
Well, Jesus is always on my side. I love Jesus.
Well, it's mission from God. It's a mission from God.
Mission from God.
That's right.
Jesus, Buddha, Papatua,
Moses.
Moses.
Thank you.
Gandhi, Alahenu, you name them, they're all one to me. Martin Luther King, they're all prophets and mission men with Mother Teresa.
Yes,
absolutely.
She was Albanian, actually, an Albanian Roman Catholic, and she was on a mission from God too. We're all on a mission from God.
So whose idea was it? Whose idea was that show, Jim?
Well, my partner James Orr, he wrote, produced, and directed a movie I did called Mr. Destiny. He also wrote Three Men and a Baby, Father of the Bride, Sister. I mean, prolific, wonderful writer during the Disney heyday, Touchstone heyday. And we became friends. And I don't know, I said, hey, man, you're a director. You're a shooter. Come to the farm. Bring your camera. Bring your drone. Because he works with, he's partnered with a guy named James Suckling, or the James Suckling website, which has all the great wines. He does, he does all these wine events all over the world. But he has a website. He's got a website that has Havana. If you want to go to Havana, you go to his website, and he tells you all the places to go. Anyway, James, he shot 40 shorts in Italy in 40 days of about 40 wineries. And then he did a pizza special in Naples for the website. And I went, well, listen, why don't you just come and shoot me on the farm? Let's see what happens. I mean, this is a very unusual business. I really feel like I'm on some kind of journey here. You're not doing anything. Come on over. So he came and we shot over Labor Day a few years ago. He put together a 9-minute kind of sizzle reel. And I went out and pitched it to my agent, and they put me together with Original Productions. They took that sizzle reel and cut it down to 5 minutes, and then we went out and pitched it. It's a great sizzle reel. And one of the geniuses, Michael Rapino, who runs Live Nation, what a brilliant, kind man. I sat with him. I showed him the scissor reel, and 8 minutes later, he shook my hand and gave me money to shoot 6 1.5-hour episodes. And then we shot them. Then we went to Discovery and showed them, and they said, "We'll take it." Combine them to 3 1-hours, which broke my heart because I had to cut 9 minutes out of each episode. Oh, I hated losing those jokes.
I was going to say, where's that footage? Because that exists somewhere, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Bonus.
We steal. Well, we have 29 hours of Columbia.
I know.
Chris, me, and James just went down there. We hired a crew, and we just started walking.
That's my favorite episode. That's my favorite episode.
Oh, I have a lot of hours of Columbia that couldn't make the show. But I own all the footage, so I'm definitely doing something with it for sure.
Fantastic. Go ahead, Liz. Liz is dying to ask you a question. I know she is. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I am, but I mean, I can listen to the stories all day long. There's no question. I'm just loving being in this part of this conversation, Jim. But Calling All Growers is a show for growers. It's a show for growers to help each other learn different practices and get better at their craft. And so I guess, I would love to know from you, what do you wish you knew when you started growing that you know now?
They never told me about mites and aphids, gophers, grasshoppers. I mean, I feel like a cross between Bill Murray and Elmer Fudd on my farm, killing these, these little things, that then mold. Oh my God, mold. I mean, they didn't tell me it was farming.
Right.
It's farming.
Right.
I understand. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I was just going to ask you didn't grow cannabis before you started farming the cannabis?
No, I had just, I had this 13 acres on the Rogue River, which was just gorgeous. And I built a little house there, and it's just really sanctuary. And I became friends with the neighbors right behind me, Becca and Charlie. I love Becca. Anyway, they had an 80-acre farm, and Becca, unfortunately, took the illness and she passed, and she wanted me to have the farm. So I bought the farm and gave Charlie a life estate. So I had this farm, and I didn't know what to do with it. I mean, I had 90 acres on the Rogue River. I didn't know that we were in the middle of what they call the banana belt, which is an area that's shaped like a leaf of a banana. We're right here, right? This area is prime for grapes, pears, and cannabis, outdoor cannabis. So there's 292 days of sunlight. I'm by a beautiful river with, I feed these girls water that's like Arrowhead water. So almost a perfect pH. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to get cattle. I didn't want to grow alfalfa or corn. I didn't know. And then cannabis became illegal that year, and I went, wow, new agriculture. So I just talked to Danny Aykroyd, and he knew Captain Jack. And Jimmy, you should talk to Captain Jack, grow some of this fine cannabis. It's from Afghanistan. He went there in 1971 and 72, and he brought the seeds back from the villages of Masharif. And these seeds are unbelievable. They're landrace strains. Nothing's ever touched them. They're originally from a hash plant because that city was known, that village was known. It was off the Silk Road supplying hash to all of Asia. Okay. So Captain Jack came. We grew 24 plants, and then another friend of mine, Jeffrey Iverson, who's a great geneticist out of Bend, had beautiful sativas. And so we grew 48 plants, and then it just kind of started growing. The ball just didn't stop. And then we built green hoop houses. Then I've torn down the hoop houses because there's too much mold, not enough ventilation. What I mean, this has been an education. My cousin always says to me, "Tuition, Jim, you're paying tuition." So
Absolutely.
Hey,
it just steamrolled.
Incredible.
Now I have 4 state-of-the-art grow tech greenhouses, and I put in LED lights from Fausch, Foch lights. These LED lights are fantastic. They give us about 30% more penetration, which is 30% more yield, and the THC and the terpene profiles have been enhanced. But I also subsidized it with advanced nutrients from Big Mike and Rogue Soil. So between the soil and nutrients and these lights and that controlled atmosphere in the greenhouse, I still have father son feeding these girls, and I use lights to supplement when there's cloud cover. Like we want to have 1,100 looms of penetration of light. So when the clouds come, it goes down about 750, and I got this total grow control brain that has sensors and senses it, so it'll bump the lights up in order to maintain a consistency of that 1,100 looms for the girls. So I really, no, automatically it just shifts. It keeps the airflow perfect. It keeps the temperature and humidity perfect. I am now a great controlled environment. The LED lights, I was afraid didn't have the full spectrum, but damn, they do. You can't see it, but it's there. So I have the full spectrum of light that supplements father son, because I don't really want to grow in a box. Something about it, even though you get more money per pound, something about the sun, you can't replace the sun.
No.
Hey, and go ahead, keep going.
Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'll keep going because I just love this stuff.
It's incredible. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love hearing you talk about it. And it's sounds like an
so
incredible environment.
We have controlled environments, no aphids, no rustic mites, no gophers, no squirrels, no deer, and no mold, because the moisture is so controlled. And so I couldn't be happier. This is our first yield. As you can see on the TV show, Growing Belushi, you watch us build these greenhouses. And it is the best harvest and the best cannabis that we've grown.
Oh, incredible.
Can I ask you, he brought up something about seeds, and the whole seed universe and genetics fascinates me. I've got a friend in the business from Green Nexus, and he's got Dutch seeds. And do you know anything about Dutch seeds like Barney's and Passion or something like that?
No, I was in Amsterdam and there's stores with seeds, and I'm going to Spain. I'm going to that Cannabis convention to speak in Barcelona in a couple weeks. And somebody told me, he said, grab any seed they give you. They have some great genetics there. I work with a guy named Ryan Radio out of Central California, who's supplying some genetics that we are just testing out now. Oh my God, this guy is brilliant. Ryan is really great, and he gifted me some seeds, so we're excited about that. But I think the future of cannabis is going to be in the genetics, because weed is weed,
Right.
I mean, a guy, I heard a horror story. Guy walks in the dispensary, says to the bud tender, "What's that?" The jar, right? And she goes, "It's grass." She goes, "Well, what's that?" "It's grass." "Well, why is that one more expensive? Why is Willie's more expensive than that?" And she goes like this. "It's grass."
God.
"It's grass. You want to get high? Here's some grass."
Does it get you high or not? I mean, that's really, does it get you high?
Wow,
Right.
that is a shame. I mean, it really is, because it's not just grass. I mean, it's a medicine, it's a healing plant. And our bud tenders are our first line of, education for
This was just
consumers.
one girl,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, but I
they're
mean,
much more sophisticated now.
yeah. No, I know that. So, okay, I learned something really, really cool, Jim, that we have our favorite strain in common, cherry pie. It's hard to come by. That baby is, oh God, I love this strain so much. And so that was exciting to me.
We call the cherry pie the marriage counselor.
Oh.
Why?
Well,
it gets you horny. Come on, you could say.
Well, I think any pot will do that, but
but it's Granddaddy Perps and
you know why?
Poison cross.
Because it mine has like a 19% THC and about a 3.2% terpene. Mm. And for me, that's kind of the right combination, because I'm not a pothead. I don't smoke all day, although it's okay that people do when they need the medicine. I'm more of a microdoser. I use Jamie Pearson's Bang chocolate, who we did a collab with for Blues Brothers chocolate. I use like 2.5 to 5 milligrams at night to go to sleep. And the cherry pie has an entourage effect with the terps and the low THC that give me kind of a nice feeling. I'm chatty, I'm charming, I feel good. It takes the edge off the day if I feel anxiety. Right. But what happened was, my wife at the time was coming down the stairs.
I'm not going there. I will not go there, because I've had two at the time.
Well, I just finished 3. So, it could be me. It could be me. Okay. It could be.
There is a consistency. I know that feeling, Jim.
But you got, you have the bud. You have the marriage counselor.
Anyway, she came down the stairs one night. I was at the bottom of the stairs, and she said, "Are you hungry?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Would you like to go out?" I go, "Sure." She said, "What do you have a taste for?" I said, "Well, a cheeseburger." She goes, "Oh, Jim, that's a little heavy for me. Anything else?" I said, "Well, how about some sushi?" "Oh, Jim, I had sushi with my mom last night. She's a very nice girl." And she said, "Anything else?" I said, "Why are you wasting my time? You know we're going to eat where you want to eat. We're going to eat what you want to eat. Why are you wasting my time? Let's just go. I'm hungry." She looked at me like, whoa. So the next night, I took one hit off my cherry pie, came down the stairs. She's like a little tentative. "Are you hungry?" "Yeah." "Would you like to go out and get something to eat?" "Okay." "Where would you like to go?" And I said, "Baby, we can go to Taco Bell as long as you're sitting across from me."
A great line.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, "Well, aren't you being charming?" "Am I?" So I called cherry pie the marriage counselor. And by the way, I told this story at a harvest party in Oregon. I sold out of cherry pie in 2 months. I can't make enough cherry pie. People love the marriage counselor.
Incredible. Are there any strains, any cultivars that you wish you could offer, or that you're looking for?
There's just so many. And I think the future of our industry, going back to that story about it's just grass.
Right.
I really think the future of our industry has to do with proprietary genetics. Like we have this Captain Jack, which is a landrace strain, and it's not a high THC, but it's got 5.25% terpenes, and 72% of that is Mercy. Now this came right. That's why it was like a great hash plant I mean, Captain Jack was talking about when he was in Afghanistan, they would take these big, buds, and they would just bang it like this. Just bang it to get all the resin out. And they'd throw the plant away. It was because they were making hash.
Yes.
And so this plant came from a hash plant, which myrcene is really the indica. I mean, the really dry, it's really medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It really takes care of your body. It is very potent, I think.
Great for pain patients. That's absolutely.
But I'll tell you where I heard about it was Danny. That's how he knew Captain Jack. Captain Jack was the weed dealer for Saturday Night Live.
I knew that.
In the early 70s. And Danny and Davis and a few others would smoke this on Monday night and Tuesday night when they were writing. It kept them up all night, and it made them, it's very fun and creative. And I know Coneheads came from the smoke of this. Anyway, Captain Jack, it was a very pungent terpenes. So the 17th floor at Rockefeller Center smelled, and they called Captain Jack the smell of SNL.
I love it. I love that. And
that's incredible.
I love the references back to SNL, obviously, because I'm a child of the 60s, so I remember the original cast of Saturday Night Live. And on one of your shows, you mentioned that if medicinal marijuana was around when SNL was around and John was alive, that you believe he'd be alive today because he'd enjoy playing that medicine rather than just for fun.
It's a complicated statement that I've made, and I get asked all the time.
Yeah,
hard for me to explain what. I believe John had CTE from playing football. I watched him seizure in the house.
Oh wow!
Senior year, and they couldn't figure out what it was. They did spinal taps, X-rays, but now I know he was a middle linebacker, and he was all-state, all-conference. Back then it was like, "What's the matter, Belushi? You get your belt wrong, get your ass back in."
Yeah.
So I believe that he was chasing a medicine.
Wow.
And there was no medicine back then.
Right.
It was alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
It was pot was considered a drug. It was cocaine. It was pills. It was, it was the culture said this was a fun thing to do. We know now cannabis is way more medical. Psilocybin is fantastic, in my opinion, for microdosing for people with severe depression, anxiety, PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
So plant medicine has evolved out of it being a gateway drug. It's a gateway to healing. Right. So I believe if John was a pothead, he'd be alive today.
Interesting.
But he was also a cultural leader reflecting that generation. And that generation was doing Animal House stuff, cocaine. It was the hip thing. And I think he kind of got caught in that culturally, but also helping him with I believe his problems that he had. So, and then it was turned into an accidental overdose, of course, and they're happening more frequently now with fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if he was a pothead, he'd be alive today, for sure.
There you go. And probably didn't get COVID either, I might add, because
right.
Yeah, just saying. The endocannabinoid system works amazing things if it's activated on a regular basis, Jim.
Yep.
At least this is what I found. It's why I'm leaving my body to science. It's very simple. And I'm going to list all the things that went in the body in my lifetime. Go ahead, Liz.
My mind is like blown right now, Jimmy, thinking of all the things that they'll find. Just kidding. So Jim, I would love to switch gears a little bit and talk about your work with the Last Prisoner Project. It's such an amazing organization doing such great work for cannabis prisoners, that your involvement, is just incredible.
Well, my involvement is really inspired by, Mary Bailey and Stephen D'Angelo. These two people work tirelessly with beautiful, talking about a mission from God.
Right.
They have an organization that helps release, nonviolent cannabis offenders. There's 40,000 of them in jail, and it's time to get them out.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's time. We're running businesses on something that they got arrested for. I mean, here's one guy had like 3 pounds of cannabis. They threw him in jail forever.
26 years.
I mean, all he wanted to do was make some money, feed his family. I mean, that family blew up. The number one fear in life is death. Number two fear in life is the collapse of family. Well, most of the trauma that we experience are from the collapse of family. What collapses of family? Incarceration, divorce, losing a job, severe illness in the family. There are so many traumas that everyone is experiencing that I believe everybody's screaming inside. That how do we bring that screaming down? Everybody knows somebody who's struggling, suffering. Well, come on, everybody reaches for medicine. Right. The most readable medicine is not medicine, is alcohol. Alcoholism, addiction. Addiction comes into a family like a snake, and it slowly crawls up the body and squeezes and squeezes and squeezes until somebody dies. And addiction is terrible. The opiate addiction, the alcoholism kills people. Right. Cannabis doesn't do that.
Right. Exactly right. And how many
times I've always said, I was a bouncer here in Chicago. I never broke up a fight between two potheads.
That's right.
Right.
They were just hanging out talking, probably.
Yeah.
But yet our prisons are full.
Right.
45,000, as you said.
That's right. Hey, yeah.
So what they're doing is they're releasing people, and I support that.
Well, I was going to mention Kevin Allen. Kevin Allen is now the next person that the Last Prisoner Project is working to get out of jail right now. Because I'm on their mailing list, and I've known Steve since he started this. In fact, announced it on one of our shows. Met him in Jamaica in 2019. He is, a lot of ways, the face of the cannabis movement. Is that, you think that's a good way to look at Steve D'Angelo?
Yeah, yes, and he's moving into a higher realm of activism. I mean, he is 24/7, and an activist, whether it's in Mexico, Europe, and in states with prisoners. He's just moved into this beautiful place, and he's a powerhouse. He really well-spoken, well-spoken, beautiful spirit, and he comes from the heart all the time. And he is on a mission, and he's inspirational to me. So he's taught me an awful lot, and he's a great leader for this project. And by the way, everybody in our business, especially, we need to hire these guys when they come out of jail.
Right.
We need to help them adjust to their new life and help them with their family. I mean, I do believe cannabis, the marriage counselor, all that kind of stuff can help keep families together from collapsing and experiencing trauma. So, and people who do have that trauma, it helps mitigate the wiring, the nervous system that's experienced, that recreates every time you come close to that trauma.
And I think working around the plant is so healing as well. Just the energy that you get from the plant that you give to, I mean, it's just it's a beautiful relationship that occurs. And
it's changed my life. It's changed my life, this relationship with these girls, And, like girls, anybody really, you got to love them. And we love our plants on our farm, and they put out love.
Yes.
I was going to
They
say
heal.
there's a reason why the flowering plant is the female plant.
Well, the female energy is the most powerful energy. I mean, even if you go back into mythology, you know, all those great gods, you know, Apollo and Zeus and these powerful male energies, they went to the oracle. The oracle was the boss, and that was a feminine energy.
Mhm.
And on my farm, you know, the feminine energy on my farm is powerful. And I'm not just talking about the plants. I mean, you can tell when you walk by trees which ones have that feminine energy. I have a sweat lodge right between two large oaks, between the river and Mount McLaughlin and Table Rock. I'm in this vortex of energy where this sweat lodge happens. We have beautiful ceremonies, and the feminine energy is just smarter, warmer, more understanding, you know, and it just tells me what to do because I'm like on purpose. Okay, I will grow. I will cure. What else do I need to do, Oracle? You know, please lead me. And I really believe feminine energy has always led me to where I'm supposed to be. I mean, when I started acting, the first play I was in, I was a football player. I was a tackle. And I never dated any girls because none of them were dating the tackles. They were dating the guys carrying the ball.
Yeah.
When I was in a play, there were 20 people in the theater department and 5 guys and 15 girls.
Right.
So I was like, I kind of like these numbers. And I finally got my first date in high school.
Right.
And so they kind of led me into theater. You know, like, well, I'm just going to follow the feminine energy in the theater. And it's now I'm with this beautiful feminine energy on the farm.
Yeah. And I took typewriting in high school for the exact same reason. Because in the 70s, that's what they were teaching. And all the females would go into that typing class. You know, what's that?
I took home ec.
Yeah.
Shameless, Jim, shameless.
Well, it wasn't because of that, but it was an easy class. That's why I took it. But you're there, and there's a lot of girls there too. And what was really great was I was one of the only guys, kind of like in theater and kind of like in choir. There were 40 girls and 8 guys in choir. But those girls, I'll never forget that class. The teacher, she was so lovely to me, and the girl, they cooked for me. I'm here to learn to cook. You know, Jim, let me help you. Let me help. They were so sweet to me.
Just they're natural
life skills and education is what we need more of. Anyway, go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jim, what advice would you have for growers just starting out, you know, right now? You know, maybe those growers who are a little intimidated to start.
Well,
Wisdom.
I don't pretend to have advice for professional growers. That's like chefs giving chefs advice.
What about home growers?
Home growers.
People who just want to be closer to the plant, you know, but who may be just intimidated. They don't know, you know, where to start, or they're just nervous about it. They don't think they have the skills for it.
Well, there's a few things. First of all, it's a weed. You can throw it in your backyard and it will grow. And then you can start the relationship, and the plant will tell you what to do, you know, when to prune, when the leaves get a little brown, not overwatering it, keep it in the sun, you know, it needs to have airflow. But on the growing Belushi, my cousin Chris and I actually go through a competition of growing. And we go to Grow Generation, which is the, you know, Walmart, Home Depot of cannabis growing products. They got all the nutrients, everything. And we do a race and we create a package of a grow kit. And we list it on the show. And Grow Generation was so excited about it that they said, we're going to make that kit. and call it a Belushi Farms Grow Kit. So they're doing that right now. So you can literally go into Grow Generation or go online and pre-order for a Belushi Farms Grow Kit, where it's a tent that gives you everything to grow, instructions, and you can grow your 6 plants, your 5 plants, whatever your state allows you to do. Totally indoor, with the lights and the fans. That's one thing you can do. The other advice is just love it. Make sure it has nitrogen, nice soil, porous soil. It's like growing tomatoes. You want to give it the best soil. You want to give it the best light. You want to give it the best air. Air is very important. Those girls like to breathe. You have to worry about the weather because they're strong. You just don't want to get cold, too cold at night.
You're sweet. You sound like a dad giving advice for, you're going out on the night on the town and giving advice to the babysitters. Very cute.
Yeah.
He is a dad, and now you're starting to work your kids into the show. And I commend you for that. How challenging is that to have your son and daughter involved in acting, and this is your career? It's like I coached my son in soccer for many years. Okay, it is a challenge to coach your own children. Are you seeing that, or is it again a labor of love?
Well, they're cute kids. They were lovely. You really got to walk a thin line when you're directing your children. I kind of let James direct them because I get too frustrated. I'm going, no, deliver the line like this. And I'm like, that all of a sudden hurts their feelings. It's like, Dad doesn't approve of me. He doesn't love me anymore. It's a little difficult. Can I put you on hold for 1 second?
Absolutely, because Liz and I can talk a little bit. How's that?
Okay.
All right. He's a very busy guy. Liz.
Oh my gosh, yes.
What a joy, right?
Oh wow, it's just awesome. I mean, it's just.
Oh
it's
yeah,
incredible.
Come up.
I think let's talk a little bit about other products.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's talk about Belushi's product. You mentioned the Belushi.
I want the ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the ice cream. There's Canine by Belushi, so that's a pet product. Really interested in that. Belushi Select is from is the flower from the Oregon farm. But I'm wondering if you're thinking of moving into topicals at all.
Let's ask him. He's back.
Yeah.
Quick question is, Liz and I were kibitzing about what we've learned so far and how much we've enjoyed so far about your experience from grower to farmer. And I do think that there is a distinction to that. I also want to bring up home grow as a political issue. Jim, we all talk about this as a plant medicine. There are certain states that are bringing in legalization into their state and not allowing home grow. And if it's a true medicinal product, that's kind of counter to what the government's supposed to do. What's your feeling about, shouldn't home grow be part of the legalization process at every state level?
Well, I always thought that was kind of the first way in anyway, even in Colombia. You get in and allow people to grow their 6 plants and see how that works for everybody, and then kind of go from there. I just thought it was naturally that there was a homegrown element to all these laws. Is there not, is what you're telling me?
No.
Yeah, well, New Jersey does not allow home grow. I'm using that state as an example because they just went legal. They're starting to put their regulations in place for adult use. There's a lot of controversy.
We can't get everything at once.
Yeah.
As soon as they're non-threatened, and as soon as they get a little bit more savvy in this world, people are intimidated by it. They'll see the logic of a home grow. I mean, Steve Marks, who runs the OLCC in Oregon, I just love this guy. He runs the regulation, and we talked one time. He goes, "I got a problem. He said, we got a law here that says you can only buy 27 grams in a day. And he goes, I got real medical patients that want to use FSO oil.
Mhm.
You got to have a pound.
Yep.
So this guy's got to, buy 27 grams, 28 days to 30 days to buy his pound. And he needs a pound to melt it down for his medicine. So I'm trying to figure out how I can get this medical patient the amount of cannabis at a good price without taxes, and know that he's not buying that to go sell it somewhere. So there's subtleties to these laws that have to be worked out, but I think the medical patient should be able to grow his own just financially, and also to have the relationship with the plant that you're ingesting for your medicine is a good spiritual circle. But for the states that don't have it, I think they'll get there. I really do, because people really need the medicine.
Absolutely. Liz, go ahead.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. I wanted to just switch gears a little bit about, your product line, Belushi's farm product line specifically. I noticed you have a pet product, with Canine.
Oh yeah, Canine. Yeah.
Right?
Well, that one I only have that on my website. I really did it for my dog, and
But
it
why?
worked so well.
Yeah. I want to know about it. This is super exciting. And I think also pet products and things like that.
We now have, this is Chicago at night.
Okay, that's right.
We've lost our video feed.
I was just going to say, I think it's a good entryway for those folks who may still be shy about.
Thanks.
Awesome. Now, pet products are a great entryway for those folks who are still maybe a little scared and stigmatized, about using cannabis themselves. If they find, something that works for their dog.
Well, the thing about the dog is, the thing about this oil that I created is a full spectrum oil. I did it for my dog Taro, whose bones ache because he runs all day at the farm. And one day he just was down. So me and Joel McLean kind of created this CBD oil for him. And in 3 days' time, he was dancing up the stairs, beating me up the stairs. And the thing about animals is you can't give them a placebo.
No.
That it either works or it doesn't.
Right.
You can't do a mind, presentation to him to get his mind in the right place, to accept it. It's just like it works. So it was like, wow, Joel, this stuff really, really works. Maybe I could. There's a lot of canine fans that I have. Maybe we can put on the website for people, for their animals. So I just have it on the website.
Okay, that's incredible. I love it. I'm a canine fan personally.
Oh,
oh yeah, that's me. But what about topicals? Are you and other products that you're thinking of offering?
Well, I'm expanding so rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
The TV show has done an incredible push. I'm in Oregon, Oklahoma, Colorado. We just signed in Michigan, Pennsylvania, the Mohawk Nation in New York, Massachusetts. And we got these little, I call them baby blues, little 0.25 joints in a 6-pack, Working Man's brand.
Love that.
I got 7.7s in a flip top box, like Danny wanted to put it in his shirt, So it looks like a bag of marbles. And we also have single joints like Captain Jack. I have a thing called Chasing Magic right now, which is our high-end premium brand. And then we have one called Good Ugly Weed. I mean, it is such a great value. It's 2/8, it's a quarter for the price of one. And it's an outdoor weed. The THC values are really great. It's really good weed.
It's ugly.
And selling the hell out of it because people are coming back because it's like, this is good. Yeah, it's good.
It's like when you
not
find a box
hand
of
trimmed.
wine.
It's not hand trimmed. It's Green Bros makes a great trimmer, so the labor goes down with it. It's not as handcrafted, but it is really good weed. And then we got Bang Chocolate that we just did a collaboration with Blues Brothers Chocolate, and that'll be in a lot of states. Jamie Pearson and Bang is probably the best chocolatier organization that I've met, and I've been doing this for a while. She's terrific, a powerhouse woman.
And a regular on our shows, I might add.
Oh, she's terrific. I'm going to see her.
Right.
I'm going to see her in Spain, in Barcelona.
That's great.
I have
Cool.
just started with these girls, the two Katies down in Tulsa. They make a thing called glazed chocolate, and it's a real premium chocolate. It's so delicious. And they use a full spectrum. They don't do distillate. And they manage to do a full spectrum and still not have the taste of cannabis. I don't know how they do it. I don't ask. And they also have these little chocolate joints that are really great. So we just started with them to expand our SKUs. God, I'm talking to CBD companies now because I'd like to create a salve because a lot of people I know, they were athletes, their knees hurt, their shoulders hurt, knees and shoulders. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to create that because I know there's a need for that. And then I like to create a chocolate that's a 1-to-1 with a CBN.
Ooh,
sleepy time.
I mean, I want to call it "See You in the Morning." Right. See you in the morning, because it's such a nice sleep, and sleep is a big deal.
Huge.
And people really complain about sleep, and so I find cannabis does not leave any kind of hangover. Makes you groggy. I mean, those PM things that you can buy in a drugstore over the counter, those are heroin. I can't move the next day if I take that.
Yeah, and then the aftertaste in your mouth, it's like, what crawled up in there and died?
Oh, terrible. There's we're constantly. I work with Select. We do the Captain Jack vape pen only in Oregon. And we got a problem with it because it's sold out. I mean,
it's a good problem to have.
5,000 carts like in 3 weeks, and was like, oh man, I can't grow that much. So we're working with Select on vape, working with another Ox in Oklahoma on vape, and a very great organization at Local Roots in Massachusetts. We're creating with them the hash. Now we're going to do the Captain Jack hash, and then we're going to move into joints and other products, and then bring in Bang Chocolate, so it's constantly moving, and the SKUs are expanding. But right now we're mainly flower, joints, and Bang Chocolate.
Awesome.
Cool. Hey, you mentioned something that I want to go back to about percentage of THC. A lot of people, when they go online and they shop online, they look for the product that has the highest THC percentage. Anybody who's in this industry now is educating the public that doesn't mean that
they don't want to be educated. No. I sat in a store in Oregon. I had 6 strains from the farm.
Yep.
Lovely couple came up, and they wanted to know about the strains. And I went through every strain. And I told them the whole cherry pie story and about the low THC and the entourage effect. I told them about the myrcene and how it thins the cellular wall in the brain and gives you, even though it's a low THC, because of the myrcene value, it's like Captain Jack stuff really gets you loaded. You got to be careful. But the THC is 17%.
Right.
But the terpenes are so high, and it's myrcene that entourage effect, trust me. And then he goes, well, what's this one? I said, well, this is our chocolate hashberry. It's 28% THC. The terpene values are not as high as I like, but there's some terpenes in it. I said, I won't touch that stuff because it'll knock my ass out.
Okay.
I mean, I spent 10 minutes with these people. And at the end, I go, what would you like? You know, I talked about the Black Dog OG and how it's good for veterans and it's good medicine. They went, give me the chocolate hash-berry. And I went, highest THC level.
Right.
And I said, look, when you drink a bottle of wine, okay, you want 13, 14% alcohol. Mm-hmm. The rest of it's terpenes. You don't want a wine that has 29% alcohol. It's not going to taste good. It's not going to feel good.
Right.
They go, give me the chocolate hash-berry. So, I mean, I'm educating them on my feet in dispensaries. They still think they're getting a better deal, think they're getting the stronger stuff, the best stuff with that THC level. And it's just,
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to win this argument.
Right. Well, I mean, what I get concerned about is there are legislators out there actually trying to put limits on THC as they look at the legalization process. And again, that just shows their ignorance and non-educated that it isn't about the percentage of the THC. It's about the interaction with the myrcenes and all the terpenes that are in that.
Well, they don't know that. And by the way, I support it. I think it's great that they limit the THC because too much THC, the psychoactivity, I think can leave a residual on the back end of a little paranoia and a little anxiety. I think pure THC kind of lends itself to what people don't want. People are frightened of cannabis, and that is that paranoia, that an anxiety. And so I like I said, the lower THC and the higher terpenes is that chill and that sweetness. And there's no paranoia. And there's rest, there's sociability, and there's medicine. I mean, so I'm not saying I'm for them doing any kind of cap, but I ain't gonna hurt nobody to bring the new consumer to start with a little lower THC level.
It certainly puts pressure on the growers. It certainly does create a product that would be equal to, if not better than.
Well, I mean, look at all the dispensary owners, all the buyers know what you and I know. But the truth of it is, I'll get $2,400 a pound for 2830 THC. And I'll get $1,200 a pound for 19%. So it's business. It's like
interesting.
They're reinforcing high THC with the dollars, but that's because their consumers think that's where it's at. So it's the bud tenders that have to explain this. They're like pharmacists. They have to explain. Right. Oh, well, if you want to sleep, you want to move over into this brand. If you have anxiety, don't go with the high THC. If you have pain, this one's got myrcene in it. This one's really good. The Black Diamond OG that we have is like perfect. All my veterans use that for spasms that they have from being paralyzed or for PTSD. It brings it down. They can relate to their family. Again, keeping the family from collapsing. I think cannabis is really, really a beautiful, beautiful plant.
We think you're a beautiful, beautiful man, Jim.
Oh, I love talking about this stuff.
Well, I totally do. And I know, we asked for an hour. We got an hour from you. I just want to thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And you are welcome anytime. And any messages you'd like me to share with Jamie? Because she actually texted me during this interview.
I tell her I hope her Spanish is good because I need a translator in Barcelona.
Okay, you got it.
Oh, I'm so jealous. God, I want to be in Spanish.
Man, you Texas girl. That's the way the girls are from Texas. You ever hear that song by Ry Cooder?
Texas girl.
No, that's the way the girls are from Texas.
Why don't you serenade me? Serenade us out.
Well, I know
Well,
Rye Cooter, first of all.
it's a talk song.
Okay.
Well, I met a beautiful girl from Texas. I fell in love. And she said, well, I'll give you the shirt off my back, but if you ever try to leave me, I'll take you out in the back. Because me and my razor will see to that. And of course, goes, that's the way the girls are from Texas. That's the way the girls are from Texas. Love them right or leave them alone. That's the way the girls are from Texas. So now the song goes on. She goes, well, I'm married. I married her for my own self-preservation. And then one night I was at the grocery store in the checkout counter. And that was the cutest little girl I'd ever seen. And we got to talking and this and that. And soon we were making love. And I told her, a little time went by, and I told her, well, I think it's time that we part our ways. And she said, well, you should have told me you was married. And she pulled out a pistol. She pulled out a 38 and shot me right between the eyes. She was guilty. I was dead. And you know what that old judge said? Yeah, that's just the way the girls are from Texas. Dismissed.
Jesus.
That's the way the girls are from Texas. Love them right or leave them alone. That's the way the girls are from Texas. From Austin to San Antonio. That's the girls from Texas. That's the way the girls are from Texas.
I love it.
Oh, Jim, you honor us. You honor us on Calling All Growers. You are just an incredible man, and you're doing so much for the movement in so many ways. I'm just grateful.
And a good time.
You carry a 38?
No.
You carry a 38 in your purse?
No, I don't have a purse.
I carry it openly. It's not in my purse. It's
yeah, because that's the way the girls are from Texas.
So you know,
love them right or leave them alone.
That's right. I don't want to know about the women from Massachusetts. I could tell you a few stories about that. Hey, Jim Belushi, what a pleasure to talk with you. Great to give us as much time as you did. I really appreciate it. A reminder,
nice time.
Hey, and a reminder that we actually have a free growing webinar with some Humboldt County people. That's tonight at 8:00 on our network. And you can obviously go to Pro Cannabis Media and sign up for that today and still get into that growing webinar. And you know what? There are really no experts in cannabis because we're all learning by doing and talking about it and getting in as much information as possible. And I really think that's one of the reasons why we like to bring this kind of interviews to our public, to our followers, to our subscribers. So please like, share, and subscribe. You know all that. For Jim Belushi and for Liz Grow, the host of Calling All Growers, Liz will be back tonight at 8. Thank you for watching. Remember, it's a whole new world of weed out there. We'll see you next time.
And remember this. This medicine is so good that people take it for the side effects.